Because of the increasing rise of streaming services and like such like platforms as Spotify, Google Music, and Google Plus or whatever that is, and just digital downloads altogether, very few people are going out to like buy CDs to listen to their favorite song or whatever. And because of that, like places, mostly like big box stores, like Target, Best Buy, and Walmart, have like very much reduced their sales of CDs just because of the declining sales of those. And Best Buy especially has completely stopped selling CDs altogether. You know, which is actually not that big of a deal because their selections have been crap for a long time. And me, I just like to go to like places like Half Price Books or like local, independent record shops, because they got better selections. Those big box places are just total fucking crap, and they have been for a long time. So like but anyway, because of the decline of CD sales, there's barely like there's very little to almost no advertisements on television, regarding certain bands or artists releasing their recent albums. That and like when they do, they say that it's available on Apple Music and not in like any stores or anything, which kind of sucks because I actually enjoyed watching those old promos about Music Space would do those commercials about like the Buzz and Buzz Ballads and like Monster Ballads and stuff like that. But I remember like during summer 2004, I watched two advertisements on like MTV2. Because MTV2 had Headbangers Ball, during that time, and I remember seeing an advertisement for the release of Kitties Until the End with their single Into the Darkness. And I also remember, seeing a promo for 18 Visions release for Obsession with their single Waiting for the Heavens. Both singles appeared on the compilation MTV2 Headbangers Ball Volume 2. I used to own that compilation album. That's how I know that those two songs were all. So, but yeah, so very nowadays that almost like no bands ever do commercials regarding their releases. Although in 2009, Heaven and Hell released their 2009 album, and I actually found that at Target, but that was years ago when Target was still selling CDs. So one band that I was actually surprised to have to see their album advertised on television was this band. This is a band called Neurotica, a very underrated. They're like a cross between like new metal and speed metal. Well, this album is not speed metal. This is mostly like just new metal and hard rock. Kind of like similar to Buck Cherry and Velvet Revolver and a little bit of Drowning Pool. Kind of. I actually have heard of these guys years before finding this album. I used to own this compilation album called uh, WWF Forcible Entry, which featured, hard rock songs, you know, that were actually, themes for those like early 2000s wrestlers. It featured like a compilation of it featured, such bands as, Drowning Pool, Disturbed, Seven Dust, Marilyn Manson, Stereo Mud, Our Lady Peace was on it, Creed was on it. So a lot of other Saliva even. a lot of, awesome hard rock groups. See, WWF actually, released like, compilation albums of hard rock bands. You know, like there's this, I think it was called Tough Enough, that this wrestling show that MTV did back in the early 2000s. The first volume featured, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by Drowning Pool, Awake by Godsmack, you know. It also featured like Buck Cherry and Power Man 5000, you know. I actually used to own that album, but, because I listened to it way too many times, so I had to put the kibosh on it and just, give it away. But anyway, so I found this album at a flea market during spring 2019. It was actually, it was in Wisconsin. I found like a whole, you know, box full of like hard rock and new metal CDs that, it was just for like a buck or like a buck 50. I could not like turn away from them. There was like two Stereo Mud albums that I found, one Primer 55 album that I found. There was for that one Flaw album, just a ton of like good hard rock groups. But it was also, I found like a Jesus and Mary Chain, Wolfgang Press, this band called Swerve Driver, Red House Painters. Yeah, I bought all of those things. See, as like a huge music fan, I like to peruse through like racks at flea markets and whatnot, and I really got lucky during that day. So I was actually glad to find this album. See, during like I think it was like summer 2018. I was like I was looking through like old, early 2000s commercials on like, on YouTube, and one of the old ads I saw was an ad for this album. And like the release of their single "Ride of Your Life," which actually is the song that appears on the Forcible Entry compilation album, and it's actually the first track of this album. But see, the version on this album is much different than the one you would hear on the Forcible Entry. So that's just like a minor detail. But this this band, was actually, discovered by Brian Johnson from AC/DC, and like they gave him a recording contract. Well, I think he helped them, gain a little bit of popularity from what I read. And like this is actually their third and final album. The first two albums, they're actually more like, from what I hear, they were more like thrash metal and speed metal. But like I said earlier, this album is, far more like towards the new metal area and like the hard rock, just straight up hard rock. But and so like this band is awesome. Like I said, they're like Velvet Revolver and Power, a little bit like Power Man 5000, but in like it does have like a little bit of a like a Deftones vibe to it, especially the very last track. I Like It One Way. If you listen to that, you'll probably mistake it for like Deftones or something. But that's how good this particular album is. I love this. This was released through Smackdown Records / Koch Records. Smackdown is actually the the record label that released certain compilation albums from their wrestling shit. But so like I said, this band does not get much credit. Like I said, they only released 3 albums, including this one. But I still think that this is worth checking out. I still think that this is like, as you can see, they, You know, they kind of look like you know, but I don't know if you can see it because it's a little blurry, but they do look like they kind of seem like they could like fit into like the subgenre of like bands like Orgy and Corn and stuff like that, because you know some of them have dreads, and like some of those bands have like singers with dreads. You know, John Davis from Corn, obviously. But yeah, this is that's basically, you know, it, you know, in terms of the description. But I would seriously consider picking this up if you see it like at a flea market or a record store or in like. But chances are you will probably find it in like the clearance section of like some either record store or half price books. But like I said, I found this at a flea market, and I really hope that if you see it, for those of you who are into those bands that I just mentioned, I would definitely pick this pick this one up. It's a rarity, and I would seriously just snag it, grab it, and before anybody else does, or before you don't get another chance. So, Neurotica, their self-titled 2002 album, released through Koch Records and Smackdown Records, and if you see it, get it. Thanks for watching.